Hi toy fans and viewers, this is ToyHound here with a vintage toy haul of some He-Man and the Masters of the Universe original series toys from Mattel. Now I got these toys used and I purchased them at the local mall I go to in a secondhand store called Last Man Standing. And normally they sell like old music records, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, anything vintage for the most part in entertainment media. And they had these in like a glass case, and I saw the prices. They seem pretty decent, not super cheap, but they are older toys. So, and I believe they're from like 1983 through 85, I believe. I'm not an expert on every single toy that I collect or I review on this channel, so I just want to put that out there. But first I'll show you Teela. And Teela looks pretty good for how old of an action figure she is. And it does have 5 points of articulation. It has kind of that G.I. Joe, kind of that rubber band attachment type thing. So they do get loose over time. So you can hear even the joint's a little stiff. But still cool nonetheless. It's probably missing an important weapon, accessories. I'm not a real expert on everything, especially He-Man, but the head does turn, and it is rigid, so I'm guessing it's probably from a later wave. And that's Teela. And then you have Prince Adam, and I dropped his sword. And this sword actually is the same type of sword that was from the original He-Man, and actually Skeletor comes with the same exact mold. Mattel likes to reuse a lot of molds that they make, and so I thought it'd be cool to have a different variation. I actually, and it is kind of a softer plastic, so it's not, it doesn't like to stay in his hand very well. I don't know why I'm fighting it, but that's his sword. Apologize for dropping it. And it has like a velvet type of vest to it, so that's really cool. And basically it's basically the same mold as He-Man, it's just Prince Adam. And he has a squishy head, so it's probably from an earlier wave, and it has that articulation that you normally think of in a He-Man toy or even G.I. Joe. And it's 5 points. And one thing to be aware of when you buy these He-Man Masters of the Universe toys, they get loose in the area where the little rubber bands are, so they don't always stand the greatest. But that's Prince Adam. And then you have Orko, which I've never had Orko before, and this one's from 1983. And the coolest part about this toy is you put a little zip line through it, and you pull it out, and it rotates. So that's really cool. That's what it looks like. Nothing too extravagant. It is used, of course. It says 83 Filmation. That's the animated studio from Mattel that produced the original cartoon. And then you have Manny Faces. And the reason it's called Manny Face is because it shows like 3 faces to it. And that's the 3 faces. And it's got the similar articulation and build. It has his little weapon. It's pretty cool. That's what it looks like on the back. And it's from 82. And it's kind of hard to stand. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that. And then you have MerMan with this little mace. A lot of molded in detail and painted detail. That's what it looks like on the back. And that one is from 84. He's got a squishy head, so it is an older version. It has the same articulation. I'm not going to stick to that. And then you have Man-at-Arms with his mace. And this is basically the father figure for Teela, if you watch it in the cartoon. Not gonna spend too much on time for the articulation, but still really cool. They're in really good condition for how old they are. They're just not very good at standing in comparison to the 5 points articulation ones that are out currently, but I think they're really cool. Then you have MerMan. He's got some chip paint on him, but still really cool nonetheless. And that one's from '82. And what's really cool about this one, you have this little thing, you press on it, and it plops out. So it's just like in the cartoon. That's really cool. And he has his axe that it comes with, so it is used. And lastly, to save the best for last, is Panthor. And he's got some of that velvet wrapping that's kind of peeled away, so that's unfortunate. But his saddle is still there intact, so. And of course, you got Skeletor. And they did have like 3 of them, but I didn't want to pay a whole lot just to have the sword and the Havoc staff. I might try and get it next time. And they did have Faker too. I might get that one and some of the other ones. He's got a squishy head, so this is an earlier release. But still really cool. He's kind of hard to stand. I'm trying to see where he's... 82, yeah, so he's an original Skeletor. You can get him to stand if you have a level surface, but I'm kind of leaning him against Panthor. And that's the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe toys used from that second-hand store I bought them from. And one thing to be aware of, you know, if you want a toy that's going to have stability to it, I wouldn't suggest buying these older toys unless you can get them a little cheaper. I actually think the loyal subjects, you pay like $11 to $12 for it, but the nice thing about them is they stand. You don't have to worry about falling over, and you get about the same fun out of them. They're a little characterized, but I still say the original ones are really cool. Just if you get a little annoyed by the joints loosening up from the little O-ring that's inside the actual action figure's body, then these aren't the toys for you. And that's all I really have to say. If you'd like to see more videos, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, and stay tuned for more reviews.